Good morning, good morning. We're back today to talk about my seven-figure business tell-all. If you caught yesterday's video, you will remember, and if you didn't catch it, here's a quick overview, that for the next 3 days, I am going live and letting you peek behind the curtain of my successful seven-figure business and the life that I've created. Plus, in addition to just like peeking behind, I'm going to give you the details of how I've grown this business and 3 other multiple six-figure businesses while simultaneously and joyfully raising 5 children and being joyfully, blissfully married at the same time. And it's really one of the questions I get asked most often. It's just like, how are you doing it? And I did a little mini series maybe a couple weeks ago on like the energetic pieces. And so I'm really breaking this down into the strategic physical things that I have done to create this level of success and financial freedom and also time freedom, because in addition to having a seven-figure business, I work very part-time. So I used to work between 20 and 25 hours a week. And the last year or so, I've been between 15 and 20 hours a week. It's just naturally what this has progressed into. And a lot of people are really shocked by that, surprised, like, how is that even possible? And so I really wanted to share that how it is possible, how I'm doing it. How I'm doing it is certainly not the only way, because I think there's other very successful business owners out there that also make tons of money and they aren't slaves to their business or their job. Now, I don't know a lot of them, right? That's why people come and work with me and then we restructure their business so that they can create these results. But all of that to say is that my way is certainly not the only way. However, it is a way that I have used for many, many, many years. Again, I've built 4 businesses this way. I work part-time and I make, 7-figure businesses quite easily. And it would be one thing if it was only me doing it, right? Like, okay, well, that's just my way and it works for me. However, I have been successfully guiding and supporting clients for quite some time now. Hundreds of clients have come to work with me and create the same results. And with not only my own proof and history of that, but also the proof and history of my clients being able to create the same thing with these types of methods and approaches and strategies that I use, I just really felt like it was time to come out of the closet with it, let people know how possible it is. And so over the next 3 days, I'm giving very detailed, and my hope for you is that you pull out the nuggets that land for you. And also know, like I said earlier, this isn't the only way. I have so many clients who have vastly different lives than me. And so the strategy or the structure that we put in place for their business, as well as the energetics, are extremely different, but heed very similar results of part-time work, very, very minimal time investment, but really great financial returns, and really feeling on purpose and on mission, living in their genius zone, and getting to monetize that mission. So with all of that to say, let's dive into what exactly am I doing strategically and systematically in my business. And so this is not just a totally simple question to answer, because over the years, my business has evolved. And as my business evolves and as I evolve, so do my strategies and my systems. However, just a umbrella most simplified version is having these 2 things in place: a short-term strategy and a long-term strategy. Where I see most entrepreneurs really running into burnout is when they have only had short-term strategies for years on end, like 2-3 years, and every month they need to launch in order to make some money, or they need to figure out a new strategy in order to bring in some clients. Like the money just isn't consistent, right? So, and that usually comes down from having these quick wins. Now, these quick wins happen from things like constantly live launching only, not having an audience, and relying on social media as a business only. Now, there's lots of social media gurus out there who don't mention that even though they're very successful on social media, they have a different way that is also creating income. So anyway, those sort of quick and short-term strategies are things like live launching, using social media as your main form of lead generation and sales. Those things will have you always guessing, when will I make money again? Right? That is going to keep you in this rat race. It is the rat race of the entrepreneurial world. It is the form of paycheck to paycheck. Now, I don't say not to use that. Absolutely leverage those quicker, short strategies. But here's where people are going to make or break it. This is going to be the difference between those people who pop up and they're really successful for a couple of years versus those who have longevity and they're in a marathon, right? They're not in a sprint. They didn't go big for a year or 2 years and then give up out of burnout, not money. They probably made good money, but they went into burnout and they didn't know any other way than those quick wins, right? So this is where you want to have a short-term strategy, very similar to that. This is where we're going to leverage social media. It's where we're going to leverage the live launching, but without a long-term strategy, you will burn out. Even if you enjoy doing it now, you may not enjoy doing it in 3 years. And so I always have a long term in place. So while I have fun with the short term strategies, if you are just starting business, a short-term strategy is kind of like how you're going to start monetizing so you can support yourself while you build out your long-term strategy. If you're where I am now, let's say you're making hundreds of thousands or 7 figures a year, then that short-term strategy, those actually become just like a cash infusion for your business. It's like a bonus, right? It's not what you're living off of. That is feast or famine. So there is the short-term like bonus money. Now, if you're first starting out, that's probably going to feel like your meat and potatoes, but it's not, right? That just is an indication that you're early on in your business. Now, the long-term strategy is something that what you're doing today and this month and this quarter actually will pay off in, next quarter or next year. And most people don't see the value in that early on in their business because there isn't any instant gratification. And this is so important to have self-leadership here because I definitely wasted some time wanting just those quick hits and those quick fixes, right? Just give me a big cash month. Just give me a big cash month and I'll be happy. But then that's all you are always going after. And what I love now for the last 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years, is having that long-term strategy in place so that what I do today, I'm actually making money on that next year. Or what I do today is going to be a huge launch in 4 months, right? So those two things are always happening. There is a short-term cash injection or fusion or bonus money, kind of like that fun, unaccounted for month to month cash injection. But then there's also the long term, which is giving me longevity in my business. It's also the part that allows me to take off unlimited time. I'm not saying like a couple vacations a year. It is unlimited time. I do not have to work next week if I don't want to work, right? But that is only because I have a solid long-term plan and I am not necessary in every step of my business. So those are two things. You want to have the short-term cash injection. Now, something like this, an example, because there's so many, I just couldn't go over it in this short video. but there's so many examples. One could be like, this month is my birthday month, and so I'm going to be offering like this crazy insane deal where working with me for 1 month is $1,000, right? Now that's unheard of, because to privately coach with me is between $5,000 and $6,000 a month. And my mastermind is priced somewhere in that $1,000 range, right? So this is one-on-one coaching with me for an entire month. You're going to be in my mastermind. You get Voxer support, plus you get your one-on-ones with me for $1,000. Now I'm offering this to people who don't know me, but I'm also offering it to my clients who are maybe working with me for 12 months. And, they pay $65,000 for the year, but now they also get an additional month for $1,000, right? So that's going to create a cash injection, but that is not something that my business could sustain, right? It's not something my business could sustain. So my long-term is, I have 3 different ways in which I have long-term. If you are new to business, do not try to have 3 long-term strategies. Oh, no, you would be so tired. It would not even be fun. It would not even be enjoyable. But these are what I'm doing now, many, many years in, right? So I do summits probably twice a year where I build my own summit. I still do the interviews, right? So that's one way in which I'm bringing in new people to my sphere. And then I back that up with a mastermind, or not a mastermind, with a masterclass or a challenge or something like that. I can do those live or automated now, right? Before it was only live, but now I can automate that. And then that goes into my mastermind. And usually I find a couple of gems that are my dear one-to-one clients, right? And then, so that is the one long-term, as I have summits in addition to Facebook ads, in addition to PR. So like podcasting, being featured on other people's shows, joint ventures, that sort of thing. So all of those things are happening at one time. Now, back in the day, before I was established and where I am now, I would not recommend that, right? I would say you have your short-term one, and then you have one long-term one. And that one long-term one should be absolutely focused on building your email list, not your social media. Like if I could just scream this at the mountaintops, I would. Not your social media. So social media is secondary. It is secondary. You do not own social media. Your business could disappear in a blink of an eye. You could wake up and see your life's work fucking gone. Social media is not your business, right? It is just one avenue. It's like one wall in your storefront. That is all. So those are the things I have in place there. If you're new, you just do one, right? You just do, let's say, a summit, or you do Facebook ads, whichever one that you're called to. And I have only 2 employees. So it's a very small, petite team. It's all that I need. And one of those employees actually doubles in my personal life and in business. And so some of the systems that have made this very, very easy is sales. I stay on sales. I love the sales conversation. I love connecting with people. I love heart mapping and troubleshooting and discovering the easiest way for their message and mission to be out into the world without sacrifice, right? So I still love doing sales, and I have it systemized. This doesn't mean that it is cold, right? I choose to speak to people and connect with people heart to heart. There's a lot of people who love just DM sales and kicking them off to a sales rep, and that's awesome too. That just isn't my jam. It's not my flow. So I do have a particular process for my sales. When someone chooses to book a call with me, that starts the way I connect with them and warm up and get to know each other. So I stay on sales and client fulfillment. And that's pretty much all that I do, is sales and client fulfillment. And this, of course, I'm doing this. This would definitely be part of marketing, and in some form, part of the sales funnel. So, and then I have Tori, and she is, if you plan on going any bigger than, 6 figures, you will absolutely want an assistant that is just genius. Now, I did talk to someone recently. I'm forgetting who, I don't know, I'm not sure who it was, but they said that they have a part-time assistant that they pay $45 an hour for, right? Now, something that I prefer doing is a salary, a solid salary for the person who works with me. So they never question, are they going to make enough? What is their paycheck going to be? Are they going to have the hours? Instead, they are locked in, like, you make this, and then we add in bonuses. That's how I enjoy doing it. Because I remember working for someone for a short time, and that was really scary to think of, like, am I gonna have enough hours? Is she gonna show up and actually pay me? Like, what's happening there? So I really enjoy doing salary as opposed to like $45 an hour. That's a sign that that person, like, that there is not a how do I want to say this? It was like a part-time as needed. And if you really want to grow into that multiple 6-figure to 7-figure range, you're going to want someone who is very dedicated and very loyal. And now, no one is going to be as dedicated and loyal to your business as you are, but some ways to make it more palpable, right, is to pay really well and to ensure that they get their pay no matter what. So there's the sales that I keep doing that. I have a short-term strategy. Those are the fun cash injections. And then the long-term strategy, which I run 3 at a time right now, but I used to do only 1. Most of those are automated, or outsourced. And then let's see, where else might I be? Social media, I write for my email list. When I write content, I'm writing an email. This is for my email list, the people who are in my zone. I then take that email and I chop it up and take the little bits and pieces and create social media from that. Right? Like, hey, here's my main message. Now go put it on pretty graphics and push it out there. So it is the same email, maybe worded a little differently, picked apart a little differently, highlighted some of the quotes and that sort of thing. But that one email is repurposed in multiple different ways. It goes to Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, and then also my email list. Like this video, I'll actually transcribe. I will transcribe this, turn it into an email in like 3 months from now, a written email, even though right now it's video. So I'm constantly repurposing. And once you've been in business for a couple of years, I mean, I don't write all that much new content. Some people, I do when I'm tapped in, turned on, really want to write something, I'm so creative, then I absolutely do. But after so many years of business, I can actually go into my archives and pull some of my most favorite content that performed really well, reword some of it and repurpose it. So that definitely has contributed to the low amount of hours, that 15 to 20 hours a week that I am working. Most of that is client fulfillment. A small portion of that is sales. And another small portion of that is the creation, like doing this. So I'm curious if there was something that I did not touch on, but you still have a question about in this sneak peek behind the curtain of my 7-figure business. If there's something that I didn't go all the way into, or maybe a question that I didn't cover, please put it in the comments below. I would love to come back and give you a personalized answer. I'm going to be back tomorrow to let you know how I managed to do all of this, right? Because some would call this high performance. And I used to really enjoy the term, like, I'm a high performer. Look at me making all this money and running all these kids, da da da. I don't really love that anymore because I'm not performing. I'm just being and living and enjoying my life now. And there are particular things that I do to stay really sharp, really clear, and on top of my game. And then the next day, I will let you know how I support my clients in getting similar results. Okay? See you then. Bye for now.